Hey guys, what's up? It's Zyflin here, and today we're going to be talking about Kali and Wamai, the two new operators that are being added into Rainbow Six Siege within Operation Shifting Tides. In this video, we're just going to be taking a look at the weapons, the gadgets, and I'm going to be sharing my opinions on how these two operators are going to affect the meta of the ranked playlist whenever they do get released onto the live servers, because I think that these two operators are going to be pretty impactful, and I'll get right down to explaining why. So Kali is our attacking operator. She has a bolt-action sniper rifle, which is the first of its kind within Rainbow Six Siege. It's got a lot of oomph to it. Whenever we go ahead, we aim down sights and we shoot. Whenever you shoot your bullet, if I can kind of look at it from an angle, you can see that it leaves like a little faint trail that defenders are going to be able to see whenever they get shot at, right? So this is a instant down if you hit the body, and I think an instant kill if you hit a headshot, right? Just like every single other weapon in this game. But for this weapon to be an instant down and penetrate through so many soft walls, it's pretty crazy, and it's going to be super effective within the right hands. I think everybody's going to want to try to pick up Kali like as soon as she comes out, but I don't think that everybody is going to be good at her. Certain players are going to master this character and play her really, really well and really, really effectively, but the majority of players are going to pick her up and probably end up throwing with her. They'll probably get use out of her gadget because her gadget is pretty powerful. I would say that it is a sort of replacement to Thatcher, but she is in no way, shape, or form going to be overpowered. She's just like a Thatcher replacement, if that makes any sense. So yeah, the gun is without a doubt in the right hands going to be very, very strong. If you're playing against the Rook, you can make it so that it is a 2-shot to the body rather than a 1-shot down, which is pretty good in my opinion. It's going to increase the pick rate of Rook indirectly, so that's all right. But yeah, the weapon, it's nothing to be afraid of unless you're playing against a player who is more than half decent, right? Because most players aren't going to know how to, fast peek angles and get good kills with this. You'll rarely see somebody popping off with Kali unless they are really, really, really good at the game, right? So that's enough about the weapon in my opinion. It does also have a 12 times zoom scope, but I rarely see myself using this, to be completely honest, because, it's just too much magnification in my opinion, and unless I am outside holding a very, very, very long angle, I don't see myself ever using the zoom. It's just too impractical for me to use because my swap firing modes button is on B, as you can see in the bottom hand, or the bottom of the screen there, so yeah. Moving on to the gadget. The gadget is an under-barrel drill explosive thing. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's a little drill that is going to drill its way into any surface in the game. So that includes soft wall, it includes hard wall, it includes electrified hard wall, and it's got an explosive tip. So it's going to drill into the wall, and then at the end of the drilling phase, it's going to shoot out this little explosive tip at the very, very end of it, which is going to explode on the other side and destroy enemy gadgets, right? So this is Ubisoft's answer to everybody banning Thatcher on maps like Chalet, where you have a guards that you want to take, right? So you just go ahead, you shoot it into the wall. It does a little drilling noise, which you can easily pick up your bandit charge from, or your K charge, or whatever. It's going to blow up. It's going to deal a small amount of damage to anybody who's standing right beside it. It's not enough to kill you, but, the fact that it deals damage at all is something to watch out for, because if you have less damage, or less health, sorry, than the enemy that you're going up against, chances are you're probably going to lose that fight unless the enemy that is shooting at you is just really, really bad at aiming, right? So, I would say that the damage that she deals is something to look out for. It's not going to be the matter of life and death. It may be in some scenarios, but, in my opinion, I would rather ban Kali over banning Thatcher, because at least with Thatcher, you've got those free charges, which you can easily predict and you can easily ban a trick. And then, you've got Kali here, who you gotta run away from the charge if you don't want to take that damage. So it's a matter of you can continue bandit tricking or K tricking or whatever and take a little bit of damage, but you'll still be able to deny the attackers from coming in. So it's really up to you. I would ban Kali over Thatcher just because of the whole taking damage part, but the two operators basically do the same thing. You can, I believe, shoot the Kali charge in the back of it if you want to destroy it like that, and then it won't go off. So if you're, in the position to do that, 110%, why not? But I will probably rarely see myself in the position to destroy the Kali charge from this end, right? So unless you want to do a massive run out on somebody that is, you know, using the Kali charge to open up a reinforced wall or an electrified reinforced wall or whatever, chances are you're probably not going to get that done. But yeah, that is Kali in a nutshell. We're going to go ahead and move on to Wamai now, which is the new defending operator who is a replacement for Jaeger. Okay, so next up we have Wamai, and Wamai is Ubisoft's answer to everybody who is banning Jaeger in Ranked or even Pro League for that matter. Now, I still think that out of these two operators, Jaeger is going to be the better ban because Jaeger has free ADSs up front, and then those free ADSs, they have 2 charges each, right? Where Wamai right here, you have your magnet, which is going to suck up 1 grenade or 1, you know, any kind of explosive really. It also counters Capital arrows, which is the only counter for Capital in the game, which is worth noting as well. But you have this little magnet here, which you can throw, and it can stick to rooftops, it can stick to walls, it can stick to pretty much anything, and it's going to cover a pretty wide radius, right? So there's the radius that it covers right there, and any grenade that sort of flies through here is going to be sucked up. The fuse on that grenade is going to be reset, and then it's going to explode, right? So the grenade can still kill you, but you can also use it to kill enemies who may be standing under the magnet, right? So let's say you're playing against a sledge, they're standing right below the magnet, they throw their grenade, they don't know what's going on, the grenade gets sucked up into this magnet, it explodes, he ends up killing himself, or at the very least dealing damage to himself if he doesn't run away, if he's that oblivious to the fact that there's a magnet near him, right? So, you know, I think that Wamai is going to be a must pick on certain maps, simply because, you know, he is the only operator in the game that currently counters the Capital arrow. Like, it just sucks it up. Now, it doesn't fully counter it because it still goes off, but you can definitely use it to redirect where the fire from the Capital arrow is going to go. So take, for example, if you're playing Clubhouse and you are defending, you're holding the guards and you're sitting up on Catwalk, very common thing for Capital players to do is run into the guards, use their fire arrow to get somebody out of that spot. You can even make the same argument for the new balcony on Cafe, right? People like to sit in there, Capitals like to jump down the new hatch and then just shoot a Capital arrow above or directly on the position that you're camping in. You can use Wamai to completely redirect that arrow and then make it so that, you know, the Capital arrow is basically useless. So in that sense, this guy is a must pick, and it's going to make it a lot harder for players who are taking the game very, very seriously to choose between banning Wamai or choose between banning Jaeger, right? Because both of those operators, or both of these operators, are insanely strong, and they both do the same thing. So both of these operators that are being added into the game this season, they're going to have an impact on your ranked games because, you know, people have become so accustomed to banning Thatcher. I know not a lot of people are banning Jaeger because they don't understand why a Jaeger ban is useful, because a lot of players don't use nades that much in this game, at least in public matchmaking. But yeah, at those higher ranks, banning Jaeger is pretty important because it allows you to do a lot more things with nades and Ash charges, Sophia charges, etc., that you wouldn't be normally able to do because there would be a Jaeger mine just in a certain position as well. On top of that fact, it allows you to destroy like bandit charges through drone holes because there's no Jaeger mine just destroying your nade as it goes through, right? So Wamai is probably going to change that up, if I'm being completely honest, and it's going to return us back to the days where we can't really just, you know, throw a grenade through the drone hole without worrying about our grenade being useless or sucked up or something like that, you know, or just completely destroyed. So Kali is going to be really good if Thatcher happens to be banned, and if Kali is banned, then you can use Thatcher. If Jaeger is banned, you can use Wamai, and if Wamai is banned, you can use Jaeger. But, you know, if you are playing on a map that has guards, let's say, for example, Chalet with the snowmobile guards, and you are pairing Wamai plus Jaeger, the attackers have to bring a lot of flashes to burn off your charges. Now, Wamai's magnets do recharge, right? So you can have up to 5 at a time if you just go ahead and we put them out. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of testing on the spot right here. So we have 5 of them active at once. If I go ahead and destroy one, no, it doesn't recharge. So you can have 5 maximum, and they all suck up 1 projectile each, right? So that's an Ash charge, Sophia charge, Nomad charge, gridlock thrown thing, like the little trap that it throws. It still goes off, so you have to destroy it before it kind of starts to fall down, but it can definitely destroy them. It doesn't suck up Habana charges. It sucks up Capital arrows and stuff like that. So Wamai is going to be pretty strong. There are ways to counter him with flashbangs, and, you know, maybe you could even use the gridlock charges to burn these things as well. But, you know, it's really up to you. Like, usually we don't see gridlock being played in the ranked playlist that much, but, you know, definitely a useful operator, don't get me wrong. But I don't know if it would be worth it to run gridlock just exclusively to counter these, and then also have like an effective gadget on the defender's site, if that makes any sense. So, you know, these operators are definitely going to change up how the game is played and how you're going to think about your bans whenever it comes to the ranked playlist. And if you, like I said, combine Wamai plus Jaeger, it's going to be more or less impossible to get into the garage unless you are destroying the charges or burning the charges pretty effectively, and you're thinking like 2 steps ahead of the enemies and thinking, are they running Wamai plus Jaeger? Now, you could, you know, talk about how if you're running Wamai plus Jaeger, you're giving up in other areas. So, for example, you might give up a Legion to run Wamai, right? So you wouldn't have those Legion traps holding a specific area. You could give up a Mozzie, so you could use your Twitch drone to come in and destroy, you know, bandit charges or whatever. But the thing is, like, it's very easy to counter Twitch because all you have to do is pay attention to their drone hole to shoot it. There is a lot of opportunity to play around a Jaeger plus Wamai pick. But the thing is, like, it's going to change up how you think about your picks. And that I like about Wamai in particular. Kali, it's more so just like, is Thatcher banned? Then you play Kali. If Kali's banned, then you play Thatcher. And, you know, that one's pretty clear cut and dry. It is really going to come down to, you know, which one you prefer playing against, right? Because playing against Thatcher, his grenades are very, very easily telegraphed, and you don't take damage if you're sitting and you're bandit tricking or K-tricking. Where if you're playing against Kali, you know, it's a little bit harder to predict when the explosive is going to go off. Like, there's a much shorter time between when it's being used and when it's going to go off, so you have a lot less time to react, if that makes any sense. You can totally do it, don't get me wrong, but you're going to take that damage on top of that fact, and that can definitely put you at a disadvantage. Every single point of health matters in this game, so, you know, that is definitely a big thing as well that I would keep in mind. But yeah, that is pretty much it, honestly, whenever it comes to these two operators. Both of them are going to be crazy good. I would say in your ranked games, ban Kali, and then also ban Jaeger as well. I think Wamai is going to be a lot easier to counter than Jaeger. That is just my personal take. Like, you can just throw 1 set of flashbangs in at the start of the round, and as long as you're opening up the guard fast, then, you know, you're not going to have a problem with the Wamai having all 5 of his charges up and making it so you have to burn a lot of your resources to get into the guard. As long as you're playing fast and you're playing effectively, then Wamai is a pretty easy counter where Jaeger isn't. So I would still say that Jaeger is king of destroying grenades and stuff like that. I don't think that Ubisoft giving Wamai an AUG necessarily made him competitive with Jaeger. The MP5 is probably a better choice anyway, because you're going to be playing so close to enemies. It's just like, if you want to play at a range, you can use the AUG. It's the same AUG as IQ has, so it's pretty damn accurate, don't get me wrong, and it's pretty damaging at ranges. But the thing is, as a defender, you're going to be playing very, very, very close tight angles, so it just depends who you're planning to pick fights with, you know what I mean? So really, both of the guns that Wamai have are pretty strong, and giving him an AR doesn't make him any more or less competitive with Jaeger than he already is. It more comes down to his gadget, at least in my opinion. So yeah, both of these operators are pretty insane. Ban Kali, still ban Jaeger. Wamai is easier to counter than Jaeger, and I would say that the damage you take from trying the bandit trick or K trick at Kali just isn't worth it. I think it's a lot easier to bandit trick or K trick at Thatcher, implying you're playing against a team who, you know, is a lot less coordinated than you are. Whenever it comes down to it, it's Siege and the better team is always going to win. So, you know, as long as you're just reacting appropriately to what's going around or going on around you, you should be okay. But yeah, that is going to be it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Rainbow Six Siege content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.